There are over 60 cities in the UK. This is just one of them, a typical modern city. But how and why did our cities grow? Farmers brought their animals and produce to the market, often walking along a well-established route, entering the town from the east, through the town's east gate. The route became the East Road, with a steady stream of market traders travelling to and from the town. Blacksmiths began to establish workshops here. They were joined by ironmongers, saddlers, cobblers, carpenters. All set up workshops along the busy East Road. But as the 1800s progressed, the Industrial Revolution began to shape the city. It brought coal-powered, steam-driven machinery to the workshops and transformed them into small factories. The factories needed to be supplied with coal. By 1830, the city had built a network of canals, with barges distributing coal around the city. The factories thrived and expanded. They required a large workforce, which migrated to the city. The factory workers needed accommodation, so rows of small terraced houses were built. Large grand houses were built for wealthy factory owners, traders, merchants and bankers in the west side of the city, away from the industrial east side. Throughout the mid-1800s, the city continued to grow, expanding outwards. Houses were built on the edge of the city. In 1879, horse-drawn trams were introduced to transport people to their workplaces in the city centre. The city continued to grow outwards, with more people travelling to and from their city centre workplace. By 1930, a large electric tram network had been constructed to serve the increasing number of homes being built on the edge of the city. But in 1940, the city stopped growing. All resources were channeled into the war. The industrial city centre was bombed. Growth resumed in the 1950s. Vast housing estates were built on the edge of the city. Cost-effective housing that was quick to construct. The city was continuing to grow outwards with vigour, but it was starting to consume huge amounts of land for its urban developments. So in the 1960s, there came a new approach to urban housing. The city began to grow upwards. 20-storey tower blocks were constructed on the outskirts of the city, enabling more people to be housed on a smaller area of land and at cheaper cost. Then, in the 1970s, the same idea was applied to the city centre. The Victorian terraces that had once housed the factory workers were demolished. They were replaced by blocks of flats, and the old factories were replaced by modern office blocks. The city centre was now growing upwards. But by the 1980s, the city's enthusiasm for living in tower blocks had waned. People now wanted affordable modern houses with their own small plot of land. The 1980s housing estate was born. Greenfield sites on the city outskirts were transformed into housing estates. The houses were small and functional. Many were purchased by first-time buyers. The city continued to grow outwards for the next decade. In the 1990s, the city planners introduced a policy of urban regeneration. The city's brownfield sites were redeveloped. Old factories and warehouses were converted into luxury flats. Derelict industrial sites were regenerated into contemporary housing and leisure facilities. During the past 5 years, The city has continued to redevelop its brownfield sites, but there's constant pressure to build on the greenfield sites located on the city outskirts. So it seems very likely that cities will continue growing outwards.
When is it too late to undo what you've already done?
You get a girl pregnant and then you want nothing more to do with her.
I hadn't bargained on this, had we?
I know what I stand to lose.
Do you?
Babymaker or Heartbreaker. The Family Man, starring Trevor Eve, tonight at 9 on BBC One.